All right, let's get this bad boy started. I hope everyone's doing well. Give me just a second here. A lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. We'll get started in just a second here. Get these videos ready.
Our home wasn't keeping a comfortable.
All right. Where's my boy at? Double A9 in the building. We got some good stuff for you guys today. All right. Welcome everybody to the channel. OG here, and we are literally just 3 days roughly away from the start of the goals open beta. Now, obviously, some of us have been at least testing out the closed beta, including myself, right? That's what you're seeing on screen now. It is only available on PC. I play console. Literally, the laptop I have, it's a gaming laptop, but it's for streaming. It's the only reason I have it, and so I didn't get any special type of laptop. It wasn't meant for gaming, and you can tell. Probably later on, I'm going to give you an example, only because I want to show you certain stuff that I found throughout the closed beta and how I kind of made the most of my time playing. So I could still, even though I couldn't play the game fully until open beta on console, I still got a lot out of having access to the game, seeing what was new in the game and everything else. So I'll show you guys that. Keeping in mind though that choppiness that you see, someone like that delay that you're going to like witness through me pressing a command, you'll be able to tell that there's some delay. All that is on my side, is through the stream. That's why I'm still debating. I might talk myself out of it through this stream, but there is some cool stuff that I did want to show you guys, so I still probably will do it because you guys are smart enough to know like why it looks the way it does. The game looks the way it does. Clearly, if you look at, you know, either if you played in the alpha, played the closed beta yourself, or seen other streams, let's say Marceau stream or something of the closed beta, you know the game doesn't look like how you're going to see it on my screen. You'll see what I'm talking about. Kind of the differences. They aren't ridiculous. You can still you'll be able to see if I decide to show it, show some of the stuff I discovered along the way. But more importantly than that, let's talk about the goals competitors, which there's three, right? We have FC, eFootball, and UFL. And then some of the expectations we have for goals. So first and foremost, whenever a new football game comes out, none of the other developers will admit it, but they're 100% shaking in their boots, especially if they are not in a good place. And the truth is, none of the other games are in a good place. That's just the bottom line, right? You have FC that did a total revamp of their entire system, right? They're trying to tone down playstyles because everyone's getting sick of only being able to use players with certain playstyles. Um, and by the way, they have so many more bigger issues than that, but this is what they do, right? Whenever the player base is pissed off about everything, pissed off about the inconsistent gameplay, pissed off about everything you could think of, maybe they pull some greedy nonsense with packs, whatever it is, EA Sports will then focus on one of these major areas that they can actually, or what they think they can make a major change to, and they'll try to drive that home as if that one thing that they worked on should absolve them of all the other mistakes, all the other issues. But I'm here to tell you, these guys have tricked myself and many of us for years. Do not buy it, because underneath it all, the game is still unplayable, and we'll go into that. That's without knowing anything that AA9 right here could be like, guys, the game's amazing now, right? Even though they did nothing about their outdated game engine, they didn't rewrite their netcode, so you're still going to have that inconsistent gameplay and all those issues, right? You're still going to have that nonsense, one broken formation that everyone has to use with the certain player roles and instructions and in the certain body type because bigger players are too clunky and so on and so forth. You get it, all the nonsense. You're still going to have that arcade-like gameplay that's so far from football now it's not even funny. Same with eFootball, right? The big news is that Smart Assist is leaving the game, which is huge because at its core, eFootball truly is a great game. It's special. It's something different than the other football games. In a lot of ways, they get it more than these other developers, way more than EA Sports. But even when Smart Assist is removed, if that's to be believed, let's just assume it is, the game still has so much work to do that Goals doesn't have those problems. And we will get into that and compare them. And then, not to be disrespectful, but the truth is UFL, it just does not have the ability to even compete. So we might as well not even talk about it. Maybe we'll still get into it. Maybe we'll even look at it first just to put that to bed first. But UFL right off the bat started going in the wrong direction. And the difference with UFL, even only being a little over a year old, whereas eFootball and FC are like literally over 30 years old, one of the biggest issues that UFL faces is their incompetency, right? So right off the bat, we had hope for where UFL could go. We were wanting a good football game so bad, and we saw this kind of blank canvas with manual defending, and we're like, oh man, they're going in the right direction. Just because of little things like that. And so we were hopeful, right? But we didn't have any indicator from the development team besides their taglines. No gimmicks, no this, no that. But they never really showed us that they could actually pull the things that they would talk about off, right? And so as more and more patches came, as more time went by, they never delivered. They would actually do the opposite. They would disappoint us. And they continue to do that. And now you have a very small player base, a very toxic game full of exploits, full of shortcuts. That Pantera guy, I can go into, not that I really wanted to get into it, but I'll show you if I get onto my PlayStation Network. I get a message last night with a video, and the guy says, look at this rat, look what he did. And the guy on the video does the disconnect glitch. Now, if you played UFL this entire time, especially, towards the beginning, you know about the disconnect glitch, where players would literally... they'd either be losing or they just wanted a free win, so they would do some nonsense and disconnect the game. And at first we didn't know why it was happening, and then of course it got discovered finally by Strikers, the UFL developers, that the players were causing this. It wasn't caused by Strikers. They were literally, you can go to like how you clip videos. I don't know exactly how to do it on Xbox, but it's a player caused situation where the game will drop and you get the win. It happened to this guy that messages me on PlayStation Network, and I had no idea who he was playing at first. I'm like, yeah, wow, that ratty nonsense. That's why this game is in the trash can, because stuff like this is still there. That's what I was focused on. Like, I can't believe that glitch is still in the game. Then he messages me because he saw my Conman video, and he goes, look who I was playing against. Pantera caught in 4K doing the disconnect glitch to get a win. It's unbelievable, man. And so that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Not only is the game completely broken just in general, but the few content creators you have left over there are such pieces of crap that they can't even just take an L. They have to pull some disconnect nonsense to get a win that way. It's crazy, and just seeing that stuff, it's enough to not want to even talk about UFL, much less cover and respect it enough to say how it could be a competitor to Goals, because the truth is it just can't. Because the difference is what Goals did is they showed us, they told us what they were going to do, and they showed us. They actually have been going in this direction. Action speaks louder than words. They don't just have the taglines. They just don't have the mumbo jumbo, the scripted interviews with certain content creators that they're in good with. No, they actually have been putting boots to ground, interacting with the community, taking feedback, making changes, and that's why their game's in a great spot. We don't have to hope because we can see these things in Goals. So again, even though I don't have the best situation with Goals on my laptop because of my setup, not because of the game, I can't fully show you like the best version of what Goals could be, but I could show you enough to point out these things I'm talking about. So again, I'll think about it, but we'll probably do that at the end. I just hate to give the game a bad look when it's totally not the game, when it's on my setup with some of that laggy, glitchy look that you'll see. But I'll specify that more if we do it. First, I want to get into these competitors and why Goals, despite what some of the shortcomings you may see or think, is already ahead of the game. So what's up, Jerk Sauce? Let's read what he has to say. It says, is it just me that thinks FIFA 18 and 19 graphics look better than 26? It's funny you said that, dude. We are going to get into that as well. That is one of my things with Goals. When we start to watch these videos, and we'll click in right now, when we start to watch these, I want you to pay attention to the graphics, and I want you to pay attention to where the AI is doing the work. We'll start off with eFootball, then we'll dive a little deeper into FC, right? So this is Manessa, who is a very good player, and he's playing a former #1 in the world. So this is essentially some of the best eFootball gameplay that you will see, right? And so he's going to get into this video. You've seen that cross, by the way, is so glitchy. Attacking players win those easy. You think Goals might have overpowered crosses? Like you see eFootball and you remember, oh yeah, all these other games that have been around for like 20, 30, not 20, like 30 plus years still have these problems, right? And we'll see that. As you see, we're going to see one of those goals here, but there's so much AI nonsense in these games. Even when we dig into FC, and there's so many animations that take over, so many crutches that players have, and it takes away from football. That's why we all say we want the older games back. And when I show you this older gameplay, it's like Jerk Sauce just said, like, to me, it's not necessarily graphics that were better in like FIFA 16, 18, 19, and PES 13, 14. Because when you see these builds, these like where they take the old, for instance, PES 13, and then do a modern update with the sharpen the graphics, do the most recent rosters, it looks incredible, but the feel of the gameplay is what makes the difference. The simplicity in it. No, all this extra bullshit that came along the past decade is what's ruining these games. So when you first see Goals, you're like, oh, what's this? Because that simplistic look. The detail doesn't seem like it's there, but all that is the game relying on your decision making, right? And then they'll sharpen up the graphics and stuff, but they don't want to put anything in the game that's going to give you a crutch. For example, an automatic cross that turns to a goal, a certain skill move that's always going to beat the defender, a certain, you do a certain animation that will like put you in this. It will put you in an animation and the defender can't touch you. You essentially go through them. There's all these different crutches. A certain shot you take, like in UFL, from a certain angle, and no matter what, the goalkeeper always dives the same way and misses it because it's an animation. Like, there's all this assisted nonsense, and it might make the game look a little bit sharper, but the way the game plays then is negatively effective. You don't feel that satisfaction of you truly competing and winning the game. So let's get into this, dive deep into this eFootball video, and we're going to go through each of the competitors, and I will literally show you why goals is better. So, and then we will also look at the older FIFAs and PES, which is what Jerk Sauce was talking about, and you'll see that connection to goals, which if you think that's a bad thing, you just don't know football games, right? You want that more simplistic look and feel, because that means that all the other bullshit that's been ruining the games, it's not there. You don't have the certain play styles, the certain gimmicky ability perks or showtime skills or animations. You just have pure football. That's what made those older games that we all loved, that's what made them special. That's what made us want to play them, because when you played, you felt like you were literally competing yourself. You were utilizing the players on the pitch, but it was your decision making that mattered. Not knowing some exploit or knowing some animation that will guarantee you beat the defender, or some shot that will guarantee go in a certain area of the upper 90 or lower shelf or whatever, or lower corner or whatever, right? So let's start with eFootball. And you'll see that even with Smart Assist leaving, that's what everyone's going to focus on, and it will get a little raise in numbers because people will love it, and it is a huge victory. They got to have that victory first, and I'm rooting for eFootball. I'm rooting for any football game, but the truth is they need a lot more than just Smart Assist to be gone. So let's get into this. Let's listen.
Hertha BC. Oha! Rank 3 of Mino. Oh, guys, brilliant player. And I consider him as one of the best in Germany.
One of the best players.
Zola. Oh.
So you see these teams and you see the real players, right? And that's very cool. Right? I think this is Manessa's team. You saw the other guy. If any game was going to lay claim to having true life players, and not, it would be because they do such a good job at bringing the feel of the player, their true life like characteristics into the game. eFootball would win that battle. But the problem is it's redundant, right? Look what they do. They re-release players over and over and over, and because of that, it gets boring. It's not as special to play with a Hullet or a Messi or a Neymar or a Van Dijk or a Maldini, or name every one of them. They have 10, 12 cards. Don't believe me? Go look at eFootball Hub. Go look up all the big players. Now, obviously, they added Pele's brand new, Ibra's brand new, and now all these guys are already coming into their second cards and third. And the whole point is supposed to be, oh, there's no reset, so you keep the players forever. But it doesn't matter because quickly they're outdated, and then they want you to spend hundreds of dollars to buy the new one, just to have them re-release another player and another player. And that's not even just the re-releases. Every newer player, they're purposely trying to get you to keep spending your money, right? So not only do some players get addicted to that, but it's not fun because you never feel like you're truly building a team and like that's your team. You always have to get the next best player or the brand new Hullet or it's just nonsense. And then once you get onto the pitch, right now you have Smart Assist. So that's book close, game over. Smart Assist disqualifies eFootball. However, let's pretend our Smart Assist is gone for a little bit, and let's look at the fact that the game's still overly AI powered in many ways, right?
Look how many test cancels he's doing. He's so fast with it.
So the former number one player in the world is in the black, right? Manessa, who's a top player himself, is in the white. I want you to really pay attention to the AI control on the defense, because it's the most unrealistic, stupid defensive system you'll ever see, right? But the weight of the passes, the feel of the ball, like I hate how long it takes for everything to power up in eFootball, but like the weight, you see how the ball looks like it actually has some weight to it, right? It doesn't look like it's just pinging like it's 0-0, like it has no weight like in FC, right? It's got that more realistic feel. You see how it's moving around, how it comes off the player's foot. That's all brilliant. But the fact that there's a million skills, with most of them you're not even doing, like they just automatically trigger from the AI. Like that's the type of stuff that's ridiculous in this game. You see what I'm saying? So a goal from Manessa.
キーパーの取れない位置を狙った見事なシュートです。
あれはさすがに取れないですよね。落ち着いてきっちり決めたいいシュートですよね。
さあボタファゴ、この立ち上がりに失点と北澤さん。
Once again, I believe there, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the AI won that ball just previously. Not to mention, on that run there, the way they did it, and this is, you can go look at the timing of this. It's hard to believe they didn't copy off of goals, but in the goals stats, you can read where, like, defensive IQ. Higher defensive IQ means they're going to cover runs. They're going to be quicker to recognize them and close that space down. It has nothing to do with their speed and acceleration, similar to why in real football, like Van Dijk isn't the fastest. There's a lot of strikers faster, but he still contains and really even shuts them down because his defensive IQ is pretty much the best in the world, among the best in the world. And so to add that, what eFootball did is add acceleration into the equation mixed with like their defensive IQ. High defensive IQ, they'll accelerate and get there quicker. The problem is all it ends up looking like is the AI slows the attacking player's rundown so the defender can get there, right? That's where you have these issues, is there's all this assistance. That's why in a bit after we're done with this, we're going to watch the new goals commercial. I thought it's a cinematic trailer, but I thought they did a brilliant job in kind of explaining the state of these other football games without pointing it to anyone in particular. So you'll see what I mean, but just watch for all these little AI assistance things, and that's what you don't get in goals. In goals, the responsiveness is insane, but then you notice that every little movement, right, is your decision. Yes, it is necessary to have the R1 to help have one of your AI teammates come over and contain an opponent, because you can't control two players at once, but they don't do the work for you. That's the difference between goals and other games.
このゲームは強豪同士のマッチなので何が起こるかわからないですからね。やられた方も目が覚めるいい一発になったんじゃないでしょうかね。
グリーンウッド、前半の3分の1が経過しました。
Constant shot cancels. Now, there's a reason he's doing that, and it's also another sort of non-football glitch, if you will, but it's just widely accepted. When you do these constant cancels, right? When you do these constant cancels in eFootball, it creates a hesitation from the defense. There's a reason they do it, right? Whenever you're playing whatever opponent, and you're in the attack or wherever on the pitch, if you do these, it's like a super shot cancel. You hold R2 and shoot and then cancel it, right? With L2 and R2. The defender almost flinches, right? Well, that's not related to real football. You could try to like stretch your imagination and say, oh, they're reacting to the fake shot. No, but it's in particular if you do like what they call, I said super shot, stunning shot, cancel, the defender reacts in a certain way. So there's all those sort of things that are non-football related. And that's what I mean. There's animations, there's certain skills that trigger that the AI does that work better. And then you get to know this stuff in eFootball and then you do better. It shouldn't be that way. That's all non-football nonsense, right?
1点取りに行きたいですよね。
メッシ、ボタフォゴはロングカウンターが特徴ということなんですが、
See these just cancels over and over and over.
まずはしっかりブロックを作ってボールを奪うことですよね。そこから前線に向かってロングボールを入れていくんですけども、やはりそこのボールの質、タイミングというのが大事になりますよね。
I didn't over exaggerate, right, guys?
いないとチャンスを作り出すことはできないと。
Beast Slayer says, good afternoon, how you been? Can I be honest? I hate that stream that you're watching the video of Bambi, as I only asked him a question about his formation and his mod banned me. Damn, Manessa did? Manessa ban you, Beast Slayer? Asked him a question about his formation and his mod banned you. Damn, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. Are you going to be playing goals, Beast Slayer? Yeah, and I did not like Manessa at first because I saw when I first watched him, when I first got into eFootball, he was showing all this gimmicky, like the cross spamming method where you go and get the two tallest players on the market, free players, and then just boost their heading and all this non-football nonsense. But then as I started watching more of his content and watched him play, I respect him more. And the truth is, a lot of just the direction in general that eFootball has gone because of Konami is a mess, right? I still respect what the game can be. I respect the football at its core. Like I said, the weight of the passes the field. Like that goal right there, guys. This is the non-football nonsense that I'm talking about. I want to rewind a bit, and that's the former best player in the world here, right? So what happens is notice the defenders are all there. Now, don't get me wrong, goals, even though it's not even at full release, so they have time to keep fine-tuning it. Unless they did, and maybe I just, against AI, it's different, or because of the delay on my particular laptop, because my gameplay for goals right now on PC is a mess. For the closed beta, which I'll be console anyway, but this is BS. And eFootball is a huge problem. You play these crosses, and they're near impossible. You could have Van Dijk covering Messi, and Messi will end up winning the header over you, right? They go just like this in a cluster of players, and it doesn't even matter because the attacking player ends up winning it. So it's Šeško versus Nuno Mendes, and then there's two defensive white players there, and then there's the keeper that just stands there, and it's look how close to the goal it is. And it, of course, ends up being a goal. These happen all the time. This is the broken nonsense. So when you watch the goal cinematic trailer and hear what they have to say, it truly does match to the state of all these football games. I'm not just kissing their ass. I'm not making it up. Goals is truly superior in all these ways. If people can see past, oh, well, it doesn't have the real licenses. Oh, the players look more cartoonish. Who gives a shit? Right? The gameplay in itself is 1,000 times more true to football than any other game.
Šeško. I was like, hey, how can a small player score that? About it's
Yeah, how can a small player score that? I get it's Šeško there, and he's good in the air. Doesn't matter. You can do it with Mbappe over Thuram. You can do it with Messi over Van Dijk. It doesn't matter. The attack. Anybody who plays eFootball can relate. Those goofy crosses, right? And so when goals, for instance, let's say the crosses still aren't totally balanced, but that's where you give them the benefit of being brand new and they have time, because these games have had over 30 years, and yet in eFootball, this has been an issue for months and months and months, if not over a year, and still you can play those little dink crosses, and especially since Smart Assist has become prevalent. I'm not saying this player is using it. Let's assume they both aren't. Let's just assume Smart Assist truly is being removed. I'm just saying the gameplay in general is way too AI assisted. That's just the truth, right? So I think we've seen enough there. You know, if you guys want to go watch this game, if you enjoyed this football gameplay, this is Manessa's video against a former number world player. So let's actually go scoot forward and see the score here. So it's 2-2 there. 4-3. It looks like Manessa wins. 3-3. Let's watch the game winner. See what he does to get that game winner.
was a good attack.
He scores on a corner, doesn't he, guys?
決定機でしたが見事な対応を見せました。
Oh, wow. Oh.
Beautiful goal.
いやーこれ前に行きます。
I knew that.
ディフェンスこれを読んでいた。手元の時計では
It's absolutely sensational. Biggest respect. Aber mein tiefsten Respekt an ihn. 40 points.
So we beat the former #1 player in the world. Good job. Or maybe even currently. Okay. So, you can understand, too, where guys like Manessa and 889, like, these are the best of the best players. So it's going to be harder for people like this who get tons of views in the respective games, who are amazing at these games. And the respect I have is that even Manessa finally starts speaking against Smart Assist, even though he's so good that he beats players with it. 889, even though he's making so much money, so successful, still speaks up about how bad EA Sports is, right? However, the fact that they keep giving them chances, it's a little more understandable because these guys are making tons of money and like their misery at least it pays. And it's talking about playing a video game. They're not out there pouring concrete or working in fucking terrible conditions in a mine or you get what I'm saying. There's tons of they understand this. These are like I respect these guys. These aren't the rubbish content creators, the con men like that Pantera and UFL. These are legit true football content creators, right? Not that Manessa hasn't done some questionable things, but Double A9 hasn't. But you can understand where it would be hard for him to leave the game. But guys like Nick and Inception in them, if they're being honest with themselves, I see them coming over to goals because of all this BS. So remember, underneath it all, even with eFootball, you still have the terrible connection because their net codes just aren't built for football. And so they're not going to be able, no matter what it looks like, oh, eFootball got rid of Smart Assist. Oh, FC changed the passing. Like, EA finally changed everything. Is it back? No, because they still have underlying issues. The outdated game engine, the terrible netcode, so you're going to keep having the terrible gameplay where you can't move half the time. Same with eFootball, same with UFL. All of them have those issues. Players are saying it's worse than ever with the delay, with the glitchiness. And so, yeah, they're going to focus on these areas. They're going to get you hyped, especially the content creators, with certain things. But you have to remember before you get sucked back into the nonsense that these games still have tons more issues. My boy Dave says, OG, I remember the time you exposed UFL with Van der Ven playing striker. Yeah, that was a good time, bro. Yeah, I remember when my boy Kevin Pedro shared that video on the UFL Discord, and the UFL community member, his excuse was, oh, well, he's just scoring easy goals with Van der Ven. He's making easy passes. Anybody could do that. It's like, that's the problem, dude, is that I can play with my center backs at striker, right? And there's no repercussions. There's no way you could put Van der Ven at striker and he's just scoring even tapping goals because he wouldn't be there. He wouldn't be receiving the ball and playing striker. Like, he wouldn't be good at it, you know? It was just funny seeing their bullshit excuses. There's still no player identity in UFL, which we'll get into that. But let's dig into FC now, right? So you've seen some good stuff in eFootball. I know it was minimal watching the gameplay, but you guys get the point, right? I can find good things. I'll even be able to point out some good things in FC, as broken as it is, as arcade-like as it is. But at the end of the day, you're still going to go into the games and not be able to move. You're still going to have terrible delay. You're still going to have the AI doing everything, the animation-based bullshit. It's just like, that's where goals is smoking all these games, right? The only people who can't see it are the ones who are visual, right? Who they see like the goals players and go, oh, well, there's no Mbappe. Where's Hola? Oh, there's no licenses. All right, this game sucks. Oh, well, the players don't look realistic. This game sucks. It's like, how about you actually play the football? How about you actually look at the upgrade system? Look at the depth they put into it. The fact that there's no dead end to the game because players retire, and then it ties to real football. It's like an academy. You don't know which players are going to pan out and when you upgrade them and which players are going to fizzle out, right? You could have a player in your reserves that turns into your star player, right? The different modes, the knockout mode is brilliant. From number one in the world all the way down to the worst player in the world, you're going to get rewarded. You're always looking to improve in knockout, and even if you're the top player, you're getting rewarded. Like the rank, the fact that you can have repeatable rewards, the way they did skill rating from Division 10 all the way up, so every game matters. If you play an opponent that's way higher rated and lose, no big deal. You don't lose that many points. But if you upset that opponent, you get a huge boost in your skill rating. And then if you, at the same token, if you lose to a much lower ranked player, you're going to lose a lot of points. Like every game matters differently based on the opponent you play. That's how it should be. It gets boring in UFL and Rivals, and when you go up one rung, go down one rung. Go up two if you are on a win streak, go to a down one. Or if you get to a checkpoint, then you keep going until you win. Or you get 3 games until you start going down again. And every game, no matter how, you might beat the best player in the world one game and then beat the worst player that you smoked with your eyes closed in the next, and you get the same credit for both. That's boring. So at least in eFootball, you know, they have more of the skill rating set up, especially divisions 1 through 3, and it's mixed in, and you try to keep climbing and get a certain number to get a higher division. So at least they did that part right, but the rewards in eFootball are non-existent. The repetitive re-release of players, and it's just for all the pluses and minuses in each of these games, when you go through and go, this is a plus, this is a minus, this is a plus, goals without a doubt has way more pluses. That's just the facts if you go through every detail. So let's get in and see exactly what changed, see if we can recognize it on the pitch, and see what Double A9 has to say, who I really respect and trust his opinion. Let's listen to this.
And for birthdays like a day away, which means this could be the promo and the patch that revives the game that a lot of people have been feeling certain ways about, let's be honest. But there's a massive opportunity right here for EA Sports to revive.
And Dominator said he's going to be trying out goals. That is awesome. That is awesome. It's going to be interesting because it's such a different game. But let's watch this goals trailer real quick, and you'll see what I mean by they hit the nail on the head. And you'll see where it's exactly what I was just showing you and talking about with eFootball and what I will be showing you with FC and UFL. Watch this. This is a brilliant, brilliant trailer. Now, obviously, it doesn't really show gameplay, but it gets the message across.
Aren't you sick of this? We've been stuck in the simulation too long. We need to wake up. Real football's not scripted. It's fast. Responsive. Unforgiving. Real competition has no barriers, no shortcuts, just dedication. So earn it. Show it. In every move, every win, take control. No excuses, just football. This is goals.
Brilliant. No excuses, just football. The game football deserves, as they say, guys. And I like how they showed the little content video at the beginning where there's a pissed off player like, look at how bad this game is, you know. Look on Goals comment. He commented on Goals Discord or where? Or the YouTube video. Well, defo give it a try. I'm going to like it. I love it. Look at here, boys. I love it. See, man, I love it. And that's the thing, guys. Like, I swear to God, dude, you can read people. Like, you just know. And, like, in Dominator's just, like, that's why I feel like Inception, too. These guys have been dying for a new game, too. And that's how you know they're legit. Because it's the same reason why, with all due respect, like, I'll give respect where it's earned. When you see this, you love it because these guys have been shouting out and telling their communities the truth about all these games. And no matter how much money they make, they're still willing to change games if it's a true football game, if it's a better football experience. That's where that Pantera, like, wait till I get on PlayStation and show you the player that sent me catching him in 4K doing the disconnect glitch to get a cheap win, right? It's like, that's why I make those videos against those certain handfuls of guys that are con men, because these, like this Pantera, lies to his community the whole time, leading him to a dead end. Half of them don't even realize it. And then when it's opportunistic for views or whatever else and subscribers and stuff, they'll go to a new game and try to, like, milk the game. They don't care about football. They don't care. They do it as a way to make some money, right? And that's all fine and good, except for you're going to get called out if you're leading people down a dead end. Oh, spend your money. Oh, do this. And now all of a sudden you go. I'll show you guys what I mean. Notice how I called that guy out, right? Notice how I called that Pantera out, because he's constantly promoting players spending money even when they're scams, even when the game's in a shit spot. He was, oh, the game's fine. Now look, all of a sudden, magically, look what he says here. Never did this before. This is the first video he does it. I'm on his ass. Look at this. Boys, do not spend money in this game. I see a lot of you saying you guys are going to spend money. Don't do it. The reason I do it is because I'm a content creator. No other reason. Strikers doesn't deserve our money. When he's finally going to leave and go to goals. But all these months where I showed where on the same days I'm calling UFL out for these scams and showing all the terrible stuff where they didn't fix the gameplay and they lied. On those same days, Pantera can be seen, guys, I'm loving the gameplay. Guys, here's the new players. I just bought these players. I mean, he's got a team full. If you go back and look, he's got a team full of Team of the Year players. I mean, he kept spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and because that's what it takes to get these players the way their packs are. And then all of a sudden, he's getting called out. All of a sudden, he has what he feels like is a game that he can play, and now he's telling the truth, right? So, for example, if Jerk Sauce and Dave are like, OG, man, we trust you, bro. What should we do? Guys, spend all your money on UFL players. Trust me. They're amazing in UFL. It's a great game. Don't listen to all these haters. Keep playing the game. Keep buying these players. It's great. And then you're buying these players. You're spinning. You're seeing what I'm doing. You're following my lead. And then all of a sudden I go, you know what? No, this game's broken, guys. Let's go to goals. Nope, it's broken. Look at all these glitches. And yeah, I might be right, but you guys would be like, OG, all these guys were saying this all along for months, and you kept playing and ignoring it and saying, oh, it's fine. Why all of a sudden are these issues, what, you just now stopped being blind? Oh, no, man. Go back that one day I said that, look, I'm mad at this and I'm mad at this. It's all bullshit, bro. It's embarrassing. People are excited because you can pass on FC26 when it's a basic fundamental. EA are embarrassing. Took them 7 months to bounce. Exactly, dude. It's all, Jerk. That's my point. It's all related. All of it is con men bullshit. Do not go for it. The only content, the only not content creator, the only development company that hasn't bullshitted us so far is Goals. They're literally in here. I mean, look at this, dude. Let me show you this. This is legit their CEO and founder, and I show this all the time, but even if one new player sees it each time, it's worth it. Dude, you can go in and see messages with several different other developments, several different people that are busier than hell, right? In the middle of producing a game, right? Whether it's my man right here, I want to say his name right. Let me make sure I say his name right. It is Puchis. I don't want to say that wrong, but this dude right here, brilliant. He runs the community, does a good job. The CEO and founder himself taking the time to like, hey, maybe he wants to play the Goals Closed beta, right? I mean, just that little message right there on the 14th of February. Just for that brief little couple seconds, this dude who is in the middle of creating a video game is thinking about us. Go and look at the Goals feedback, right? And that's not all. If I go through here, I can go through this Lima, Diego Lima or Douglas Lima or whatever. He used to run the community. Luis, he's like, he helped me with like ideas for content. Sorry, ideas for thumbnails and stuff. Ideas for thumbnails, which was awesome. This Claudio, he's brilliant. He's like literally the animation designer. I mean, the stuff that these guys interact with you and help you with and answer questions, even if you know they've answered it hundreds of times and have way more important stuff to do. It's like they clearly care, right? They clearly care. It's pretty badass, man. It's pretty badass. And so one of the newest things that I noticed they did, I put this big post, but just to summarize it for you, is when you go into Goals, there's this Insiders program, okay? And that's where I got, like, after I was done moving and could finally play, that's how I have the closed beta right now, right? And the several people that have it. But what you notice is that they're getting rid of it, right? If you go down, it says Sunday, March 8th, the Insiders will be disbanded. But read what it says. We appreciate all the testing and feedback you have provided to help us reach this milestone of open beta, getting the game from alpha to open beta and all the improvements. right? Just because they're getting rid of the insiders right now, it doesn't mean that the insider role will be forever revoked. But we feel like we need a set of requirements and filters in order to include those of you that truly represent what we meant when we started this opportunity. Not just, oh, I want access to the game, I want to know stuff first, and then you go and dog the game or start bullying certain players or create like a clique and fucking make people feel unwelcome, or if you don't agree with how someone played you on the pitch, now you're going to be a dick to them, or you know, all the petty shit. We've seen it in UFL, right? At the beginning of UFL, you had the closed beta, you got a little patch for it, remember the little icon, and then you got the early release of the game, and then you started playing, and it was easy to get in cliques and groups because you would play players over and over and over, so you got used to knowing everybody, even if you despised them, like Dagger, who was trying to show all the exploits in the game and get views that way, or players who were trying to help UFL grow. What happens is these small numbers of players start to feel important, and when new players come in, it's easy to be funneled through these smaller groups, right? So what they're doing is essentially saying nobody's going to have a bigger voice than anybody else, right? They're disbanding this insiders thing, so now there's not just this group of people will know everything first. So that means they're going to be the first ones in Discord talking about whatever it is. So they lead the conversation, and then others come in and respond, and then those leading the conversation, they sort of get this gatekeeper mentality. And now the few people that have this insider access or that have been playing since alpha, now they're the ones who are like, actually, you don't know where this game's came from. I've been playing since the game was just a training grounds. I've been playing, and that's great. You've provided a lot of help in doing that, but you don't have any more of a say than anybody else. The developers created this game, and everybody can play. Sorry if someone just now discovered the game or they don't discover it till full release. They're still just as welcome as anybody else, and they have just as much of an opinion of what's good or bad. So it takes away that ability of someone to say, I don't like that guy, his comments are dumb, or, oh, I played that guy on the pitch, all he does is this and this, and then people are a jerk to him, and then your clique jumps in, and now all of a sudden you're chasing a bunch of players and potential content creators and stuff away. So it should be like, if right now today Jerk Sauce decides to start making content on goals, right? And then he comes into the Discord and says, man, here's what I like and don't like. 10 people shouldn't jump on him and go, what are you, dumb? They already tried that 2 weeks ago. They already tried this. What are you, just joining? What are you, a noob? Who cares if he's a noob? He played the game. He gave his opinion. Or he made a video on his opinion on the game, and that's what it is. Right? And so it's like, just because he didn't play all along doesn't mean that what he thinks doesn't matter. Doesn't mean, oh, I can make videos on this because I actually covered the game. You didn't. Right? Now, if Jerk Sauce comes in and he's a known commenter, a piece of crap or something, so be it. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that clique feeling, that grade school, like, you're not part of our group because you weren't, you know. So little stuff that Goals does, right? You can see where they get it, right? And I'm just assume like this could just be a good move, but what I'm saying could be just a byproduct of it, right? But I mean, they say it right here. This doesn't mean that the insider role will be forever revoked, but we feel like we need to set requirements and filters in order to include the people who truly represent what we meant with this. I mean, in some way or another, that's exactly what I'm saying. You feel what I mean? They just don't want to give it away to these people. And like, think about it. If I get the information before others, right? Now I start a conversation and it's, guys, they're nerfing this in goals. Guys, tomorrow we get a brand new mythic pack. And I say, man, it's awesome. I can't wait to get my mythic player. But Dave Riley and Jerk, they aren't insiders. So they see my comment, and because I'm the first one to know and all my little buddies are like, yeah, that's awesome. And maybe Dave disagrees. Maybe Dave says, another mythic player? That's just making the teams overpowered. So we all jump on Dave. Who are you, bro? When did you even start playing this game, man? We've all been playing since the alpha, dude. Like, What do you mean a mythic player is bad? It's not our fault you're a noob and your team sucks, dude. Having a mythic player is awesome, and then 10 players like my comment, and Dave says, well, I disagree, and 10 players dislike his. And now Dave maybe says, oh, fuck this, dude. I'm not trying to go back to second grade and have this little pitter patter, like can't say nothing without 10 people jumping on me because I disagreed with the wrong guy. So they're like getting rid of that. You see what I mean? Like if you read between the lines, whether they did it fully for what I'm saying or not, that's the outcome. A much healthier player base. So it takes away a lot of the potential for the toxicity, and you've seen it happen in FC, you've seen it happen in UFL and eFootball. Like you see this happen all the time from these little mistakes that these development companies make, right? So it's pretty cool that, just like I said, they, like in my little post here at the bottom, they just don't put a foot wrong, if you've ever heard that footballing term. Right, if they were playing on the pitch, it's like every little pass they make, every little movement is spot on there. And they keep making the right decisions no matter how little or big. So it's very cool to see. But moving on, if you go into the goals, just general chat, if you just scroll through here, you're going to see these goals. 2v2 is coming, which, by the way, that's going to be brilliant in goals. Just because of how smooth the gameplay is, the fact they have their net code, which means, like, for instance, when me and Phil tried to play eFootball 2v2, it was painstaking because the connection was so bad. So between us two trying to connect and our opponents, it was just a laggy mess, right? Which is why I don't think they drive it as much in eFootball. They don't drive a lot of those multiplayer modes. They don't have like even a rush, which FC didn't drive over there. It's nothing more than like to get objectives done because they couldn't do it like goals. Like goals is 5v5 is incredible. Their 2v2 is going to be incredible, right? So look at this. This Marco Crispin Ortuzar, he's a programmer, constantly in here. The CEO, Andreas Thorstensen, constantly in here. Claudio, the animation designer, constantly in here. Then you got Kurt0411 and Italian Stallion, two content creators / like Kurt was one of the best to ever play FIFA, and he's on the team. So like they just have these amazing people, and you can tell, man. You see what I'm saying? You can actually feel how special this game is with all these different things. No other football game has that, right? Where you know these content creators, where they come and talk to you personally and answer questions and are willing to like legit get your opinion on stuff, and where you actually see where they'll fix something and say, hey, we know you guys were upset with this. Look, we fix it. And it's like 2 days later. You see what I'm saying? Where you feel like you're part of the development of the game. So yeah, let's see this. Like my boy Dave and Jerk were saying, like the EA Sports is trying to make us excited because they fixed passing. I want you just to think about that for a second. Right? It's like they do this every year. They try to say, guys, look, we made this huge patch or did this. And it's like you're fixing things that should have never been broken in the first place. Right? And it's to be determined because this game's so far gone in so many ways. Let's listen to AA9 and hear what he has to say.
Everything. The patch that has just dropped changed a lot of things. The first thing, improved passing, improved power shots, improved chip shots, improved skill speed, improved player positioning. Also, I'm hearing it nerfed tiki-taka. I'm hearing it made play styles not as powerful. I'm hearing that the gameplay is actually better. It's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that it feels better, it looks better, it plays better, but I did hear people say that the servers are really bad. We are going to test the patch together, and I'm going to give you my...
Why do you think that is? That's never going to change. That's never going to change. The only game where that shouldn't be at the end of every content creator's streams, right? That's why all those streams and videos where I'm telling the truth, and people would say, oh, you're a hater. You only get mad at these games when you lose. And it's like, no, I'm telling the truth. Win or lose. Win or lose. Of course, you're going to have a worse tone when you lose, like anybody competing, but this is the case for all these. The content creators that don't say this shit, because you know how somebody will come on and say, oh, well, Pantera didn't say that about UFL. You know how many times I heard that? Yeah, now look where he's at. Because he was lying to you guys because he only cared about he didn't care about being truthful to you guys or helping. Like, there's no way. I've never met Jerk or B Slayer or Dave Riley personally. But they take the time to come and hear what I have to say and be a part of my community. So I owe it to them. I'm going to be honest with them, right? I'm going to be honest. Even if it means that Dave might say, you know what, he's right. This game does suck, and I'm not playing any other game. He's right about UFL, though. So, hey, thanks, OG, but I'm done with UFL. Thanks for letting me know. I'll see you later. And now I never get another view from him again and never like or this or that. That's not good for my channel. But I'm going to still be truthful. And if all these content creators aren't ending like what they're saying on any like, oh, this improved, but the servers are bad, they're bullshitters, right? So you see why I follow the certain ones that I do, because they're honest. It doesn't matter. AA9 talks about this all the time. Like, it doesn't serve him to say half the shit he does, but he's going to be honest.
Actual reaction to playing the game for the first time. By the way, I have not played the game. Wait, let me take that back. I play a lot of career mode. I have not played Ultimate Team that much recently. I didn't even finish my weekend league games this weekend. I think I got to like 7-0 and I literally just stopped. Or maybe I did finish this weekend. I don't know. I didn't stop. I'm pretty sure I stopped. I'm 1,000% sure I stopped. Yeah, I stopped. I don't know where I stopped. 5-0, 6-0, 3-0. What is this? 3. I don't know what that is. But I stopped, y'all. I did not finish my games. I just stopped. Because the gameplay was not really exciting to me right now.
Ding, ding, ding.
And also, I don't want to just say the gameplay wasn't good.
I did the same thing, guys. In 25, I left in the middle of the December Cup, the FC Pro December Cup. I left. Didn't give a shit. Right, I'd say that's doing pretty good if I'm playing in, you know what I mean? I'm playing in Pro December Cup. In 26, I left after I made my own Evolutions to Glory, stopped chasing all the players, trying to make the game fun myself because EA Sports couldn't do it. And the gameplay was so empty, right? I got a rank 3 in Champs, had to like claw at myself and my brain because I was so bored. It was just, the gameplay was so empty. It wasn't football. Just to finish, I finished with the rank 3. All for the purpose of really having it recorded, so any hater who's like, oh, you left probably because you suck, I could be like, oh, really? Here's where I left, genius. Does that look like it sucks to you? I had a bunch of Evolution players behind the player curve months ago, and I left. 84 rated players against 87 rated players. You know what I mean? And it just wasn't fun. Same with AA9, right? 7-0 says, all right, see you later. This game sucks, right? And so they all want, just like we all want, good football. And before goals, this is what you had to do. And I hope they all realize this and stop giving these guys these chances, because it's the same shit over and over. It's just like goals said in their cinematic trailer, guys, right? Are you sick of being in this simulation, just the same shit over and over, same results? It's insanity. Doing the same thing over and over the same way and expecting different results. The servers are always going to suck. Let's just start and end it there.
Isn't really much happening when it comes to like the promo, bro. I think this promo was a big miss. There was nothing really to pack. So hopefully for birthday, plus this new patch, we can really see, like, at least for me, because I don't, like I told you, that I have zero
Let's
expectations.
watch a little bit of this,
like,
and then we'll talk about
that's
it.
the number one thing. It's 4-1-2 and 2 narrow. We'll play where it's a mirror. My formation versus it's a mirror formation. I have zero expectations. Really cool Messi card. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 expectations, y'all. I'm just going into it.
A class. In this world, it is something that the goddess blesses us with.
You are classless.
Skills are...
Damn ads.
Hoping that the new patch is fun. I'm not even looking to win a lot of games. I don't care. I just want it to be really, really fun to play. So from what I'm hearing, from what a lot of my friends are telling me, is that tiki-taka does not feel as needed and play styles don't feel as needed. And you actually need to have shooting play styles to like hit a goal, right? Not play style, excuse me. Have shooting on your player. I should have scored right there, bro. That's just rust right there, man. I should have done way, way, way better. Supposedly, You just need like shooting play styles. I mean, shooting stats, right? It's back to stats matter, not just play styles. With that being said, I still think the biggest problem with the game was running back with a midfield. He's offside, right, guys? That's offside. Running back with a midfield, I think, was the biggest problem in the whole game.
Yeah, you would do that shit that you do in eFootball too, where they tell eFootball has videos where it's like, guys, best way to defend in eFootball, do not control your back four, let AI do it. It's like all these games have that issue. Again, goals, only game that doesn't. UFL, what do you see? You see players running around with their defensive mid, leaving their back four alone, letting the AI do it. All these games, same broken bullshit except for goals, guys. It's ridiculous, man. Come on, give me a break.
But if you could just run back with your midfield for 90 minutes, then I think we still have the same.
Yeah, defense is a skill. There's got to be a skill gap there.
Let's see. See, my AI still, I don't know, man.
Yeah, AI. You just wait for the ball to get by your defender, switch away from them, hold R1, and they win the ball.
And I mean, his back line, not score. That's elite gameplay right there, y'all. He was just running back with that defensive mid, never decided to mark my striker with his defender, and I was able to just cut inside. By the time he switched, I had a finesse shot wide open. So that's still a thing, right? So that's still 100% a thing. Beautiful football right there, man. The passing, still fast. Passing, still clean. Ticky-tack in the 4-1-2-1-2 still goes tough, still goes hard, still beautiful to play with, still nice.
That's one of the things I love about the passing. And then I realized, and I'm going to show you the goals gameplay here shortly. And again, when I show you the goals gameplay, you got to remember that what you're seeing on screen right here is super smooth. And that's what goals will look like on console. So when I show you this goals gameplay and you see it's kind of choppy and stuff, it's my damn laptop. Like, it literally might blow up as I'm playing the game. It's not meant, I literally got it just for streaming, and it does that perfectly good. But especially when I'm streaming and add a game on top of it, like, it's an overload. We've all done that before on PC, where we try to play a game and our PC's out of date or whatever, and it's like, you'll see it. But I want to still show you, because I started to wonder, though, the weight of goals passing feels so much better, more true to football, right? It was a little too fast for my liking, because like there's this certain essence that only eFootball captures where when you're passing, it like looks like an actual football being passed, whereas like FC, that doesn't look like a football moving along a pitch. Literally, it looks like an air hockey puck. It's closer to like the ball's skating on ice. The players look like they're skating. They don't look like they're actually running. When you see all the animations with the skill moves, it looks like they're on ice, not on an actual pitch. I mean, look at the passing and stuff. And not everything is going to translate from real football, but the fact that eFootball captured that is brilliant. And goals actually feels like it's going towards that, which is very cool. Like that whole skating sensation, and you see it all the time, even when players are jockeying and shit. It looks like they took NHL jockeying, if that's what you call it, from them, as opposed to actual football like defending, right? To me, I don't see much difference.
Was pretty close.
Let's listen and see if he feels much difference.
Look, that AI is still by the way, that was my Wilson. So there's still a problem with like AI offensive players, especially like your strikers. Just their freaking AI is so smart defensively. That's so weird to me, bro. Wilson literally intercepted that ball right there. I think it was Wilson.
Yeah, that's been a problem for the past few years now, where you track back with R9 and he's your best defensive player. You know, stupid shit. UFL has that too. Like, you can run back with Haaland full speed and literally win the ball back half the time. Just don't even touch your defensive mid, or your defenders or defensive mid. Just run back with your striker, run into him, and then let Haaland move back up top as you pass the ball left and right, because it's auto connecting passes, so it's easy to keep the ball, and then play some glitchy ball, some exploit, and score. Right? I mean, all these games are just dog shit.
It'd be a cut and finesse. Bang! R9 so nasty, bro. All right, 4-1. Not the cleanest gameplay. I haven't played in a long time, guys. I'm really rusty. But I did want to jump into Elite and just really get my initial reaction to it. And again, the gameplay the server's not heavy for me. A lot of people saying the servers are cooked. After patches, by the way, the servers are always cooked for a couple days, but I got clean gameplay somehow right here. Don't ask me how, but I did. Let me try first time through ball. Easy peasy. And then McKennie should finish.
Yeah, it's air hockey still. But guys, how many times do we hear that over and over? We always hear that right? We always hear that. And I've gotten, and so have you. You play FC, you get one good game. Play eFootball, you get one good game. The next game, you can't move. The next game's decent. The next game, you can't move. Then the next game, it's great. Then 3 games in a row, you can't move. Then for a week, you can't move. Then for 2 games, it's great. Then, you see what I'm saying? The key word there is inconsistency, and that's never going to go away. It's just the truth. So now, goals. I'm going to repeat this till the sun comes up, guys, okay? Listen to me. This is going to be choppier. Like, I can never go in and play online with this right now because I'm on my PC for closed beta. That's what you have to use is your PC, or in my case, laptop. You're going to hear the fans going crazy, but you can still get a gist of the gameplay. But when you see some of that choppiness and some of the command delay and stuff, literally, that's not going to exist in the game. I'm playing on a system that really, it's crazy it even works, period. All right, but the things that you can note, right? Like, obviously, because this is closed beta, you can see the player details, but I can't go in, for instance, and see, like, each of these players will have a little tidbit about them. Like, it would say, Nzuzi hails from, what is that, Trinidad and Tobago, wherever it's at, grew up playing, you know, whatever position, broke his leg when he was young and battled back, and now he's a fierce, you know, goalkeeper with excellent pairing or whatever. And like the little tidbit will tie into their personal life, and then it will kind of display an explanation like why they play how they play and what they're elite at. Let's go to this Tolkien Usmanov, for example. He's elite in a lot of areas, but let's look at his dribbling. It would say something like, you know, he grew up in a poor area, didn't have, you know, had 10 brothers and sisters, not much room to train, didn't have a backyard, but he would go in this small area in his room and just work on dribbling between his toys, and that's how he became an elite dribbler. And like, it'll explain this little part about him, right? It will say like he got beat up by his brothers all growing up, and now he's extremely tough and he brings it on the pitch. And then you look at the stats, and his strengths at 97 and his close dribblings at 95. So they do these brilliant, like, just little tidbits, but they give these players character. And then you create the superstars. When you go out on the pitch, you read these stats, you see these players are all capable. Like Usmanov, he can play everywhere in the backfield, right? Including defensive mid. I read the stats and I determine. Maybe I play him center back, then he moves to defensive mid, right? Same with my attacking players. This is another defensive player, but notice he can play everything Usmanov can, but also CM. Notice that Itamar Leandro, this Brazilian player, he can play everything from striker to center back to wing back to whatever, to fullback, it doesn't matter. But you notice he's got good shooting, like at least decent, above average shooting, but above average defense. So I could literally play this man at striker, and then as my team gets better, he could end up being like my right back because I want an attacking right back, because he's pretty decent across the board at everything except for his physical ability isn't that good. And there is no restrictive nature to what positions he can play, to the certain player roles, to the body type. It's literally, you read the stats, you go on the pitch, weak foot, right? You can see if they're left or right on that right side there above the position, so he's right-footed. But then you see his weak foot's 42, so he doesn't have a very good left, so I'm going to play him on the right. But it's my decision. Like, notice he could still play left wing, right? He could still play left wing, but his positioning, hold on, so if I go in here, he could still play on the left side, and maybe you do that because you want him to cut into his right and curl in shots. You look at his shooting, 99 attacking IQ, 87 finishing, but then his long shots are 95. So maybe I want to, if long shots would be like further outside the box, then around the top of the box to the edge of the inside of the box would be like mid-range shots. And then the closer towards the net would be like what his finishing stat is. So when you go into learn all this stuff that I'm talking about, you would simply go into here, right? And it's very easy to understand. This is why I love goals. Everything counts. Everything matters, right? So you go in here. You would go to play goals, okay? So I'm going to explain where I'm going with this. You go into play goals, game info, You got game guide, features, modes, tutorial, okay? So a game guide, this breaks down all the stuff about the practice arena, all the different stuff about the game. But then you go into features, modes, media hub. Where is... Wait, did they take down the stats? Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Leaderboard, get companion app, join Discord, media hub, game info, features, modes. I guess for the time being, they took down the stats. They had all the stats available, unless they just moved them. But I have a video on all the stats, breaking them down in depth, so you can go check that out. But it will tell you on there, like, for finishing, that's shots like inside the box. Long shots are shots like 25 yards and out, like further outside the box. And then as you get closer, there's like the mid-range shots, which are a combination, right? So it's a percentage. So if you have 99 long shots, but let's say your finishing is 0, then those mid-range shots would be literally like 50, right in the middle. But as you get closer to the goal, it gets closer to 0. As you get further, because you have 99 long shots, it gets higher. So everything is stat related. So the better you know how stats work and then these players' stats, the more you can utilize their strengths. That's brilliant. It's not any of this bullshit where, oh, he's got the superpower crazy shot, so he can shoot from here and it's an automatic goal, and he's got quick step, so his 99 speed isn't like, this player doesn't have quick step, but this one has 60 speed but has quick step, so that 60 speed player is going to be faster than the 99 player because he's got the special play style, right? It's just little stupid shit like this that exist only in these other games that Goals knew was part of ruining the other games, right? Yo, buddy, love your stream. Let's sometimes play together and share tips. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, bro. Always open for that, man. All right, so let's get into this so I can show you what I'm talking about. So they probably removed it just while they're maybe changing some of the... I'm assuming they removed the attributes because they're changing like the way some of them translate in game, which is to be expected, right? As they move forward and keep developing the game, they might see some stat areas that need to change. No big deal. There were some that they said, like, these aren't active in the alpha, or these aren't active in the closed beta. Like, so I guarantee they add it back. But once they do add it back, make sure you read over the stats because it explains how everything translates in game. So I'll give you an example. You look at this, let's go to one of my defenders, right? So I didn't really look into detail for these, so I just threw, I looked at the defense pretty good. Okay, I'm going to put her at center back because this is more for understanding like the updates they made. I went through every formation. If you haven't checked out those videos, I broke down every formation, the pros, the cons, stuff like that. But you look at, for instance, her defensive IQ. It's 72. So if you go read the attributes, it will say like the defensive IQ is their positioning and how well they understand like if a opponent's making a run, how quickly they will recognize that run and then close that player down and mark them. So hers is lower IQ, so it's going to take her a little bit longer to recognize a run and close it down. So she could have, for instance, 99 stand tackle, 99 jockeying, 99 interceptions. But if her defensive IQ is 70, right, she's usually not going to be in the place. When she is in the place to make a tackle or intercept the ball or jockey and stop an attacker, she'll do great. But if her defensive IQ is low, whenever the attacker's making runs or looking to get open, it's going to take her longer to recognize that and go mark that player. And when you don't go and recognize the run the player makes or an open player, doesn't matter how good your tackling or jockeying or interceptions are because you're not near the player. See what I mean? So you have to know football, understand how these stats translate, pick each player's position accurately because this Matsui wouldn't be a center back for me with that 72 defensive IQ. For this, I don't really care, right? Maybe I'll go through and kind of just to give you guys more of an example, but I also want to get out on the pitch too. But that's how you have to look at every stat and choose where your players play. That's where there's so much more depth to this than many are giving this game credit for. So let's just assume I did that for all my players. They're in the correct positions. Now, when I went through all the formations, I would say the most important position in goals is center mids. Not defensive mids, not attacking mids, center mids, right? And that's because if you go read these player roles for a center mid, you see that it says they will operate in the middle of the pitch and act as box-to-box midfielders. They will help out in both the attacking and defensive phase, so they're double-edged swords. Attacking mids are only dangerous in the attack, right? They'll show and look to receive passes from the defense, but they don't help defensively, right? If you had a defensive mid, they would help defensively, but they wouldn't get in the attack. When you have center mids, they get all the way back and help the back four, then they get all the way up. So you're going to want to make sure for your center mids, for one, you use a formation with, in my opinion, the formations with 3 center mids do the best. You can make it work with ones with 2 or ones with a defensive mid or attacking mid or whatever, but why not have the most numbers getting back and getting up? So in this case, in the 4-5-1, I got 4 backs, 3 center mids, and even the wide midfielders when you read. A wide midfielder will look to operate on the flanks and contribute both attacking and defensively, right? If they were wingers, they would be wide forwards. They aren't called left and right wing. They're called left and right wide forwards. They stay up. But wide midfielders will come back. So you got a block of 5 and a block of 4. So that's going to be hard for your opponent to beat. But in the attack, you still have 6 players pushed up like you would in any 4-3-3. So this 4-5-1, despite how much I love the 4-3-1-2, may be the best setup, right? Because you have 3 center mids that operate just like cams and secondary strikers on the offense and operate just like defensive mids defensively. Then you have wide midfielders that get all the way back but also push all the way up, so you have width in the attack as well as in the build-up. So for Sweeper Keeper, I want you to notice how detailed this is. Unlike any other game, when you play Sweeper Keeper, some may like it, some may not. I want you to pay attention to how much this Sweeper Keeper, how much they support and actually try to be a passing option, which, yes, it can hurt you, but it's also extremely realistic. Like, it's a true Sweeper Keeper. For center back, you obviously have ball playing defender and advance. If you put advance, they'll be like, Coleman back in the day, right? Making those runs forward, getting into the midfield. If you do ball playing defender, they'll stay back, but they'll move out of their defensive shape to become a passing option. So for the sake of this, I'm going to show you an example of both, right? Well, I'm going to go regular center back so you see how that works. And this, for this left center back, I'll do ball playing. So this isn't the more advanced one where they get into the midfield, but watch the difference. Watch how both my Sweeper Keeper and this left center back look to open up as passing options. For fullbacks, notice, which I hope you can change this in the full release. For wingbacks, it says the same thing as wing mids, right? They get all the way up and back, help it support the attack, but also defend. Fullbacks, they look to defend first. You see here, they will provide width in both the defensive and attacking phases, but they won't push all the way up. Like wingbacks are getting in the attack and defending, right? Fullbacks, if you put defend, for example, they're going to stay back, all the way back within your shape of your back four. If you put balanced, they'll get up and support, but you'll still have to manually trigger them if you want them all the way in the attack. But for me, because I have these 2 wide midfielders getting up and back, I can actually keep these 2 on defend, whereas if I was playing like a 4-3-3, I would leave them on balance. And then if I still want them to make runs up sometimes, which I will every once in a while, I can manually trigger them with give and goes and just pointing towards them and triggering them, right? So I'll put them on defense. So I have a solid back 4. These 3 I can put balanced or defend, just like with defensive mids, right? Only attacking mids and wide mids can you not do anything with. They just do their roles, right? But center mids and defensive mids you can put on balance or defensive. So if I put my defensive mid on balanced, they'll be more like deep lying playmakers. If I put my defensive mid on defensive, they'll be more like true number sixes, actual CDM anchorman type of players. In this case, I don't have defensive mid. That's what I like, because now all three will get up and help my striker and wing mids in the attack, and all three will get back. So I'm going to leave all three on balance, but watch how well they get up and back like true box-to-box center mids. Right? The position recovery and goals is better any other game. They take a little while. You can easily get countered. These players recover to their positions better than any other game within goals, and that really helps with these three center mids. And then striker, you can either go regular striker or deep lying forward. So for this, I'll go deep lying forward. But I want you to notice something. Because my three center mids are going to be all the way in the attack and defensive, they'll be making runs sometimes past this attacker. Even if I put this striker on the regular striker setting, I'm going to use deep lying forward because if you can read here, they will look to play deeper in the build-up phase when the team has possession. They'll look to drop in the space between the midfield and defense, not drop right into the midfield or in front of the midfielders, but in between the midfield and defense in order to link up. So they'll be back here at times getting the ball, allowing these three center mids and wing midfielders to make runs in behind. And those runs from deeper are always harder to cover. So we're going to go with this setup. Then for build-up style, we're going to go with short passes. So our players come to the ball. We're going to look for a lot of up, back, and throughs. And then defensive depth, because we have such a solid block, it's going to be hard for our opponent. We're going to go with the high line, right? You can even go higher. You can go aggressive. But we're going to go with that high line, and we'll stop it at about 70. All right, so remember, the last little warning. This is going to be a little choppy looking. There's going to be, like, because of my laptop. It has nothing to do with the game. The game is perfect. The netcode ensures it. No matter who you play, you're not going to have this. This is strictly because of the setup I'm using for the closed beta on my laptop. So remember that. We'll go in and play. By the way, this is the new knockout round, knockout mode. I already showed you it, but you would play until you lose. And no matter where you're at, you get rewards. But just a little recap of this, I want to show you something very cool. When you look at the reward details, notice how all the way at the bottom, throughout all the way to the top, there's better and better rewards. So this is literally a mode where they included every player in goals. And as long as you even just play, you're going to get rewarded. But whether you're the best player in the world or the worst, your rewards differ and you're still going to be challenged. If you're down here, you're just looking to get as good as you can get to beat your personal best. And if you're up here, look at this. Different rewards for number 1 in the world, 2 in the world, 3 in the world. And you literally play until you lose the max number of games that you can lose in each of the rounds until you get knocked out. Once you get to this KO round, then you enter this leaderboard and you try to make the top 500. You can see it tells you how many wins you have and then how many losses. Once you hit those max amount of losses, simply put, the player with the most wins is the best in the world. So you're going to have some players that may not even hit those losses. It just may be about how many wins they can get once the game's over, which becomes a battle of, attrition as well. Like, how long can you last before you're like, all right, I'm done. But most players are going to hit their max losses. I mean, you got to be truly amazing with all the ballers, the skilled players and goals to play through and not hit your max losses. And then you get your rewards as soon as you're done playing, which is incredible. But I mean, look at these rewards are insane. If you make it to even the top 500, right? 2 million XP, 150,000 points, 1 Epic Plus. But look at this. A guaranteed Legendary Plus, which means you could get a Mythic, 2 for the top player in the world, 500k points, and then 2 million XP. That's incredible. The 2 million XP goes to anybody in the KO round, right? And you get close to that even in this, I think this is Elite. So you have Bronze, Silver, Gold, Elite, KO round. So, I mean, they just cook. This mode's going to be so much fun. That's like their weekend mode. You have the same type of tournaments. They don't have any tournaments available. And then, of course, they have ranked with repeatable rewards. Every time you get to those 15, you earn a new reward, and then it repeats. So it's not like, oh, I'm at my max rewards, right? So now I'm done for the week. No, you can keep playing and keep getting those rewards again and again and again, which is awesome. So it makes you continue to want to play. And then here's the top 500 leaderboard. So if you see here, like that, the well-known player from Alpha was Marky, right? I didn't get a chance to see him, but like Marceau's insane. I have a video that showcases how good he beat me, like 9-1. Dude was insane. And in that game, he was like showing certain broken stuff, so he looks pretty ratty, but you can still see how good he is. But I mean, you could see his record there. But I wonder why Marky. I guess Marky just figured no use in playing, right? And you see a lot of these guys, like number 6 in the world, me and Law have a bunch of games against each other that I showcase. He's an excellent player. Whoa. Where else? Where's my boy Corb at? I guess Corb didn't play enough, or has a different account I don't know about. Yeah, you see here only 31 players played, or at least played ranked. I'm sure there's others like me as well, but if you have any questions or want to see something along the way, let me know and I'll be glad to show you. But if not, I'm going to showcase some of the player movement, some of the excellent parts about goals. I know as well, I don't have all of these kits available, but if you go to edit team, oh wait, where is that? Customize club. There's a way to get on. There's like tons more. There's Brazil kits, Portugal, like all these different kits that you can get that I don't have yet, but we'll be able to have access. And then that's where the microtransactions and stuff would come in. Let me see something here. I'll show you the different camera angles as well. There's some cool ones. Even though I either like standard and far. Wide seems decent as well, but I'll probably stick to standard. Standard or far. Alright, so again, do not judge the choppiness and all that. That's on my side. The game will be smooth as a baby's bottom. So I'm in the 4-5-1 playing against the 4-4-2. Right? Just a bot game. All I want you to pay attention to is the player movement, the smooth passing, the fact that every decision defensively, offensively is me. There's no animations. Even though, like, look, here's the ball roll near me. Or sorry, here's a step over. Here's the elastico. Here's the reverse elastico. Right? I'll do it this way now. Right? And, oh, well, they don't look as sharp. Well, the whole point was that the moves worked how they should work, right? Not, oh, my player goes into an animation and they do what looks like the skill move, but I can go through the defender and still make it. No. They wanted everything to work to where you had to make the move in the right place to beat the player. Same with shielding, same with everything. And obviously the game's not perfect. They still got to work on certain areas, right? I want to try. They don't have the rainbow yet, but I think they're adding it. Even though I wouldn't mind not having the rainbow in, but it is what it is. And so like it might not look as realistic, but the way you can beat players in game, like, right, with the moves, that's what matters. Oops, that wasn't what was supposed to happen there. So watch my defense. I'm controlling my defender. And then I run through and I win the ball. You see what I'm saying? See how my defender, or my keeper, is a sweeper keeper. So he's pushed up. Offsides anyway. Everything is my decision making. So I played that pass with a bad passer, and the repercussions were that I lost the ball. Knocked him off the ball. Boom. Beautiful ball. Perfect. Knock on. Goal. Boom. You see what I'm saying? All in my own decision making. There was nothing. Look, right here I took a big touch on purpose. Push it in the space because I had the space. And then good finish. And you can see the difference with the stats, with the players you use. If you shoot with a player with 60 shooting and try to hit a curling shot, you can't say, what the hell, man? What kind of... Well, look at the player that you just shot with, right? That's where their stats. It's your decision-making plus knowing your player's stats and how they operate and utilizing them the right way. What a goal. What a goal. And you've seen that finish, 75 shooting. So not the greatest, but not terrible. Still capable of shooting. You could see how slow the shot was. It wasn't like... But look, if I go with my, let's say, striker, no, it's 75 shooting. So 84 shooting here. So let's get a shot with my boy here who's right-footed. If I can get one. If and when I can get one. And you'll see the difference because he's an actual good shooter. Same with when you press tackle. If someone good in defense, you'll be able to make that tackle. It's going to be more accurate. You can tackle from further out and connect the tackle. Whereas if I try to make a tackle with someone with like 27 tackling or whatever, 50 tackling, they're liable to miss. So you see the difference, right? So maybe you're sacrificing some of the sharpness in graphics or looks, okay? I'll take that any day for good football. So after this, we're going to go look at those older games that everyone considers like the last good football games and look at some of those tackles and some of the things and notice what there's not. There's not all these added play styles. There's not this component of, oh, the elastico's got to look realistic. I don't see the real life players' tattoos and the sweat, and the focus along the way got away from being about gameplay. That's what used to matter. That's what used to sell games. And then these development companies started worrying about all this other bullshit, and that's when these games went downhill. What a goal. Although, even though that was a good cross, he was wide open, he or she. I believe at least, they might have fixed them by now, but I believe they still have to work on the balancing for headers because crosses still can be overpowered. Travella missed. Foul. So I've been using the standard to watch. So this is far. Gives you more of a total view. And then they have this crazy one, TV broadcast, which might be good for like some highlights and stuff, but I don't see how anybody could play with it without like getting sick. You're in. Boom. Travella. Golazo. So 80 shooting. And you can kind of see the difference, even from 75 to 80 shooting. Now watch the positioning too. Watch the positioning of my midfielders. You see my striker all alone now. Whoops. I accidentally dummied it. I didn't mean to do that. I hope they sharpen up dummying because I could see where it could be useful at times, but it's a little too like laboring. Like you'll see what I mean. I'll try to showcase it. So as I play my striker, watch these runs. Look at my center mids. Oh, I was too slow in playing it. Should actually trigger that from the initial pass. Boom, boom, boom. Striker's holding the ball. Oh, they were there. I should have put that in the air. See, my decision making. It's my fault. See where the dummy worked but is a little laboring? Too slow. Offsides. But it's all your decision. It's all your football. No bullshit. Good. I want to try to show you the loaded shot, which is kind of like a green time shot mixed between that and a stunning shot. It has that little electricity that shows on the ball, and I know some people would be like, oh, that's arcade-like, but it doesn't affect anything. It just shows that you did a loaded shot. 85 to 99 power, and then you strike it in. It's almost like a perfect struck shot. But yeah, I don't know how choppy that looked. I'm assuming it looked choppy compared to my last stream when I tried. I can feel it definitely a little bit, but you can still get an idea of the movement and everything. So we'll go back in now one more. I'll try to show you more dummies, more skill moves and stuff here. This 3-5-2 with the 3 CMs, right, is absolutely a viable setup too, because how well the wing mids actually move up and back. Because there's no wing backs in the way, they get all the way up and back supporting. So see, I manually sent my wing back on a run. Wow, he muscled me off. Good win there. Look at this. Dummy it. I wanted that player to run in behind. I could have. Wonder if I could have switched my player there. And then took that ball over. I'm going to try that next time. Oh, shit. Good. I knocked him off the ball right as he was about to shoot. Oh, brilliant. Love it. Love it. See, it's just a realistic... I should show you the highlights look cool in this game, too. Like, that's it. Just getting the feel for the game, right? You can still get the feel. Even though it doesn't feel right, I'm about to blow... The laptop's about to blow up in my face. I can still get a feel for what to expect. Chip shot, not good enough. So I feel like that's what it's going to take, is true football gamers that remember the classic games and remember what mattered about football gaming. I feel like those who are obsessed with graphics and shit are going to sit there and play a delayed piece of shit game all because, oh, it has Mbappe and it looks more real and whatever else, you know. This 4-5-1's deadly, bro. I'm telling you. Options everywhere. Might be how I start the year off. Start my close or open beta. So that player had 37 shooting, and you seen where the shot went. That's why it's important, like, when you're actually building your team, to look at all the stats. Uh-oh. Boom. Oh, that was going to be a loaded shot, too. Oh, man, I can't wait to play this game full on. Dummy run, boom. Cross. I wonder if you can do a bicycle kick loaded shot. I don't think you can, maybe, though. Bicycles and all that, you hold L2 on a shot. Oh, shit. Red card. Red card. Oh, it's a yellow. It should have been a red. I dummied it on accident. Halftime. Yeah, I think they did so good. They're so smooth with it, man. And I apologize if the stream looks choppy like it did last time, but again, that's just my laptop. That's not the game at all. But you can still feel like the weight of the passing feels excellent. Look at that. Oh, just a little too much. 83 passing. That was too... Tried to thread it too much for an 83 rated passer. See what I'm saying? Lassico. Watch this. You can do a move as you receive it. Oh, I want to show you guys that. See what I'm saying? It doesn't look as good yet. Ah, wrong player. That's going to be sick as you can start. I'm going to do a ball roll into a step over if I can. Yep, I love it. Ball roll into a step over. Haha, yes! Let's see the finishing on him. That's a 75 shooting again, but he could have like 89 finishing and like 60 long shots. So you have to know these particular stats too. Receive into a ball roll. Aye. When the goalie's out, oh no! I screwed that up. Yeah, receive into a ball roll works really good. I like it. This is going to be a fun game, guys. I'm telling you. That pullback's super powerful if you use it in the right spot. You can't do a pullback on a receive, but see those moves that they do. Offsides. It could have been sick. What a finish, though. So you guys get the gist, man. Just in case it's looking choppy on stream and shit, and I can feel a little bit of the delay in case it's coming off. I'm not trying to showcase the game in a bad way, but there's just a lot of good about this game, man. With the best part being that it's literally about your knowledge in football and your ability to play the game of football. That don't matter. Can't wait to build up my own players, to compete, the whole nine. Make some great passing plays, everything. It's going to be fun. And then the only other setup I was looking at, I like this 4-3-1-2, but I like the width the 4-5-1 offers. And then you have the 4-3-3 attack could be really good too. It has the cam or the 3-5-2. 3-5-2, you get so many options in the attack. I'll show you that real quick. Balanced. They said this deep line was super powerful. I want to see, like, could be OP, but with the 3-back, I would never play this. I don't want my 3 center backs that far disconnected, sitting back. I don't want to invite. I'd be pressing. But for the sake of just testing it out and seeing if they park the bus. See, you can even get a lot, even though I can't play the game full out. You can learn a lot, feel out the game, new skill moves, movement, different stuff like that. I'll show you one other camera angle that's decent. I'm probably still going to go standard, at most maybe far. But this wide is pretty cool. I'll do this wide far for now so you can see the whole pitch and kind of understand the player movement. So I want you to notice something. 3 regular CMs. Watch how they get all the way up and help my 2 strikers, but then all the way back. And watch how these wing mids, now that there's not wing backs in their way, watch how they get back. Because if you look at the player roles, these 3 are on regular center back, these 3 are on regular center mid. I actually put, the way I'll do it, yeah, I'm not going to put them on defense at all. I'm going to leave it all regular. And let's see how they get up and back to help. Look at that ball. Oh! Yeah, I can't play like this. That camera, I don't know how anybody could. And here's wide. It still just feels too far away. Watch her recovery back. See what I'm saying? Like, the recovery's good. Like, you can still get countered with this, don't get me wrong. Oh, wrong player. I want to test the dummy out. Look at that dummy. Perfect. That's what I'm going to try to test out more here. I feel like they're onto something with it, but they got to work on it. See, like if that player was running on, that could have been sick. Dummy. But see, it wouldn't let me switch to the other player that I wanted to come towards the ball, so it's got to go to the player on the run. Still trying to work that. What a tackle. Oh! You gotta be real careful if you do dummy, do it in the right spot. I did it right there, for instance. Alright, then the last camera angle would be far. That TV broadcast is... I may do this one. It's either going to be this or standard. For dribbling, this isn't as good, though. Good from the keep. I gave that up. I did a dummy there. Dummy? Oh, okay. I wonder how quickly, if I'm on like a through ball, how quickly, let's see. They'll turn and get it. Yeah, that works decently. Ah. And then first, fake shots can be really useful in throwing the defense off too. Halftime. Yeah, man, I don't know. I could go on and on about the positives. I could go on and on. Oh, just want to try some, see where I could score from. Yes. Oh. Oh my god, dude. Give me a break. This game is so... So once you guys play it too, again, if you're more visual, just the ability to have your decision making matter with everything, with no other bullshit. You can get really creative in this game, which I love. But I don't think there's a super cancel. Nope, there isn't. Or wait, let me try something. There's no skill move cancel, but it makes sense because that's like a video game thing. There's fake shot, obviously, but there's no like, oh, I was gonna do a spin and I canceled it midway and created a new. No, it doesn't exist. That's always been nonsense. Oh. Alright. Boom. Get in. Push into space. Now, these corners for against AI for me, they score against me every damn time, but I haven't been scoring against them. So again, I hope it's part of like just the delay. Like, because I'm using a controller not plugged in to my laptop, and then like on my side, not the game side. I know the head balls can feel like overpowered, and I've scored on some, but I think that's more a my setup thing and not the game. If that makes sense. Look at the recovery, though. I already had my 3 center backs back. And then my 3 center mids were there to help. I mean, look at the recovery. Look at the wing mids getting back. And I got smoked. But there is no just let my AI do anything. See, I'll lose this. Oh no, I won that one. Hey. I want to let them score so we can go into overtime. Alright, golden goal. Which I love that they did golden goal too. They didn't mess with the other bullshit. So much better. Like, these games are meant for golden goals. So you play as long as you have to in ranked or anything, whatever, knockout, until somebody scores and wins, which is brilliant. Oh no! And that's a game. So you guys get the picture, right? I don't want to make the game look bad or anything like that, but the whole point is that if you're playing these football games to stare at like, oh, Mbappe, look at the sweat on his eyebrows. Man, his tattoos are perfect. He even blinks like Mbappe. Okay, then you can argue against me about goals being the best. But who gives a shit? Like, the artwork, how the players look and everything is actually excellent, right? It's just, you have to understand that these guys are working. Con, man. These guys are... Look at that team, by the way. Jesus. Oh, my God. Guys, this game is great. Play it. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's a joke. It's a scam. Don't spend your money. I think right here, it's like, guys, don't spend your money. A little too late, bro. You've already pushed all this shit. But anyway, whatever. It makes me sick. If you get it, you get it. So... The point that I was taught, built different. I love it. Gameplay is instant and responsive. No delays, no excuses. Matches are decided by skill alone. No scripts, no hidden interference. It's free to play, cross-platform, and open to everyone. Every squad is unique, built from players that are truly one of a kind. I mean, dude, you literally can't get any better than that. It's brilliant, man. And that's truly how the game feels. I know you guys couldn't just see that, or maybe you could. Let me see. Nope, sorry. I don't have it up yet. Couldn't see anything I was just talking about. But yeah, it's brilliant. So, that's the only way I could see someone arguing is if, like, it doesn't look as good off the bat compared to the other games. Like, the skill moves don't look as smooth and all this, but they're still not even full release. They're still brand new. They're not like UFL that was in development since 2016 and they're still claiming new. These guys literally, it's a brand new game. And they aren't selling their souls. They aren't like, guys, we need the Elastico to look more real, so let's bring in Ronaldinho and let's get this license and this, and then have those look real, but then in game, you do an Elastico and the defender does a good job, times the tackle, but the attacker runs through him. But don't worry, the Elastico looked realistic, so that animation, let's just let them automatically do an Elastico and get through. So now players are going to realize that, and they're going to go, okay, I'm just going to spam Elastico. I'm going to spam step overs. I'm going to spam these moves. So goals didn't look for everything like it's got to look the best. Just add this animation and this one. They just wanted it to be true to football. Like when I do a step over and burst to the right, it's realistic. When I do an Elastico and the ball pushes to the right, it's realistic. But the defender, if they make the right move, they guess the right play, they are in the right position, they can still win the ball. They didn't sacrifice the gameplay, right? They made a unique netcode because they know that football games can't truly be played at optimal in the optimal way with all the command delay and all that shit. Which is why this is such a perfect, like, built different is exactly what goals is. and it's superior in every way. So anyway, the right players will understand that. No, I feel like the most superficial people in football gaming are typically like the ratty players anyways. Like, they want to talk about realism and having licenses and using Mbappe and shit, but yet they'll go into a football game and use a disconnect glitch like that Pantera did against that dude in my, in my DMs on PlayStation. Or they'll use some 50-yard shot or some bullshit that's the most unrealistic thing ever, but yet when you have a realistic football game with no exploits but the players are more cartoon looking, now that's a problem. Make it make sense, bro. You guys know what I mean? It's just a joke. So the right players will be in goals because they'll get it, and then the ones who don't, we probably don't want them in the, playing against them or even in the goals community anyway. So that's what I have for you guys. Let me know if you agree, disagree in the comments. If you haven't, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't liked this video, please make sure you do that. It helps a lot. I always say this at the end. I should probably say it earlier, but if you can take the time and are watching still, please go to TikTok and X, as well as Twitch and Kick, all OGamester or OGamester FC, and just follow me on there. It truly helps. And then I also have a free Discord. Join that. I always am updating things in there. That's how I'll run my goals, leagues, and tournaments out of there. If you ever have any questions or anything at all you want to say, feel free. We'd love you to be part of that community. A lot of great guys in there. And then, of course, if you want, perks such as instant content, I do some coaching, breaking down your gameplay, stuff like that. So there's memberships, other perks. If you want to check that out, it's in my YouTube bio. So thank you guys so much. Just want to point that stuff out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. As you see there on the top, March 9th, don't forget, open beta, whether you're a PC player, Xbox player, PlayStation, whatever. March 9th, we all get to play 2 full weeks. We get to see where the game's at. You get to see what it's all about. And then, after it goes away, we have to Jones a little bit longer and just count down until pretty much, I think, the start of the World Cup, which is when goals will come. I don't know right exactly the day the World Cup starts, if it will match, but around there they said. Things could change, but based on their open beta release date and everything, it looks like it's holding true. We're like roughly 100 days, 99, 98 days away from the World Cup. So it's coming, guys. It's coming. Those last little things that they need to sharpen up, the goals team, they absolutely, clearly have time to do that. So all is well, man. The future of football gaming is coming. See you guys soon. Peace.